There are moments in history when a person is faced with a choice that will define who they really are. There are moments when a person must choose between money and principle, between comfort and conviction, between what is easy and what is right. This is the story of Muhammad Ali and a king. A king who offered Muhammad Ali $100 million. $100 million! More money than most people could dream of. More money than enough to change his life forever. More money than enough to secure the future of his children and his grandchildren. And Muhammad Ali said no. The year was 1978. Muhammad Ali was at a different and challenging point in his life. He had retired from professional boxing at the height of his power. Then he had made the controversial decision to come back to boxing. He had lost his championship titles in fights that he probably should have won. Then, through sheer determination and skill, he had won those titles back. He had experienced the highest highs of triumph and the lowest lows of defeat. He had become one of the most famous figures in the entire world, but also one of the most controversial and one of the most criticized. His refusal to go to Vietnam, his conversion to Islam, his association with the Nation of Islam, his changing his name from Cassius Clay, his speaking out against racism, his beautiful and complex philosophy that combined athletics with activism, all of this had made him legendary to some and reviled by others. But financially, despite all of his accomplishments, despite all of his fame and his championship titles and his legendary status, Muhammad Ali did not have the kind of financial security that his legacy should have given him. He had spent enormous amounts of money supporting his family. He had invested in business ventures that had failed and cost him substantial sums. He had paid expensive legal fees for his battles with the government over his refusal to go to war in Vietnam. He had given significant money away to causes he believed in and to people in need. His financial advisors were not always the best. His trust was sometimes misplaced. Money that should have been saved was spent. Money that should have been invested was lost. So when the offer came from the Arab king, it came at a time when Ali could have genuinely used the money. It came at a moment when $100 million would have transformed his financial situation completely. It came at a moment when most people in his position would have taken the deal without hesitation. The offer came from a king, a wealthy Arab king from the Middle East. The king was a boxing fan. The king admired Muhammad Ali. The king had seen Ali fight. The king had been inspired by Ali's courage and his principles and his refusal to compromise. The king wanted Ali to offer an extraordinary deal. The king wanted Ali to come to his country for a series of exhibition matches. The king wanted Ali to help promote boxing in his nation and raise the international profile of his kingdom. The king wanted Ali to use his fame and his charisma to shine a spotlight on his country. And in exchange, the king would pay Ali $100 million. $100 million. In the 1970s, this was not just a large amount of money, this was an almost incomprehensibly large amount of money. This was enough money to buy multiple houses. This was enough money to own sports teams. This was enough money to build universities and hospitals. This was enough money to create a financial legacy that would sustain his family for generations. This was enough money to never have to work another day in his life. This was enough money to do good works and charity on a massive scale. Ali listened carefully to the offer. Ali understood exactly what was being offered. Ali knew the financial numbers. Ali knew what $100 million could mean for his life and his family and his future. Ali did not dismiss the offer out of hand. Ali took it seriously. This was not a casual decision. But then Ali began to investigate. Ali began to ask questions. Ali began to learn more about the king and the country and what accepting this offer would really mean. Ali learned about the king's government. Ali learned about the king's human rights record. Ali learned about oppression and suffering. Ali learned that accepting this offer would mean using his platform, his fame, his influence to legitimize a regime that was committing human rights abuses. Ali understood that his presence would be used for propaganda purposes. Ali understood that the king wanted him to use his fame and his charisma to shine a spotlight on his country. And in exchange, the king would pay Ali $100 million. $100 million! In the 1970s, this was not just a large amount of money, this was an almost incomprehensibly large amount of money. This was enough money to buy multiple houses. This was enough money to own sports teams. This was enough money to build universities and hospitals. This was enough money to create a financial legacy that would sustain his family for generations. This was enough money to never have to work another day in his life. This was enough money to do good works and charity on a massive scale. Ali listened carefully to the offer. Ali understood exactly what was being offered. Ali knew the financial numbers. Ali knew what $100 million could mean for his life and his family and his future. Ali did not dismiss the offer out of hand. Ali took it seriously. This was not a casual decision. But then Ali began to investigate. Ali began to ask questions. Ali began to learn more about the king and the country and what accepting this offer would really mean.
Ali learned that the conditions in that country were harsh. He learned that people were being mistreated. He learned that women were being oppressed. He learned that there were people suffering under the rule of this king. And in that moment, Muhammad Ali had to make a choice. He could take the $100 million, he could secure his family's financial future, he could live a life of luxury and comfort for the rest of his days, he could justify it to himself by saying that one man could not change a nation, he could tell himself that refusing the money would not help the people suffering, he could take the money and walk away, or he could refuse. He could say no to $100 million. He could say no to financial security for his family. He could say no to comfort and luxury and wealth beyond imagination. He could stand on principle and refuse to use his platform and his fame to legitimize a dictator and an oppressive regime. He could refuse to be complicit in human rights abuses. He could refuse to allow his name and his reputation to be used for propaganda purposes. This was the choice Muhammad Ali faced. He said no to the king. He said no to $100 million. He said no to the kind of financial security that would have changed his life. When Ali announced his refusal, people were shocked. People questioned his judgment. People said he was crazy. People said he should take the money. People said that one man could not change anything. People said that Ali was being naive and idealistic. But Ali knew something that others did not know. Ali understood something about human dignity that many people do not understand. Ali knew that some things are more important than money. Ali knew that principle is not for sale. Ali knew that his integrity was worth more than $100 million. Ali said in an interview at the time, "I cannot take that money, not when I know how the people are being treated there, not when I know what my presence would mean for that regime, not when I know that my platform would be used to legitimize oppression. Money is not everything. My conscience is worth more than $100 million." The king was shocked. The king could not understand how someone could refuse that kind of money. In the king's world, everything had a price. In the king's world, everyone could be bought. But Ali could not be bought. Years passed. Muhammad Ali continued his life. He did not become a billionaire. He did not have the kind of unlimited wealth that $100 million would have given him, but he had something more valuable. He had his integrity. He had his conscience. He had the knowledge that he had not compromised his principles for money. The king's regime eventually fell. The oppressive government that Ali had refused to legitimize was eventually overthrown. The people who were being mistreated were eventually freed, and when that happened, people remembered that Muhammad Ali had refused to use his platform to support that oppression. Ali's refusal became a symbol. It became a symbol of principle over profit. It became a symbol of refusing to compromise your values no matter what the cost. It became a symbol of understanding that some things are not for sale.
In the years that followed, Ali faced financial difficulties. He did not have the wealth that many other boxing champions accumulated. He did not have the kind of financial security that the $100 million would have given him. But he never expressed regret about his decision. Later in life, when people asked Ali about the offer, he would say, "I made the right choice. Money comes and goes, but your conscience stays with you forever. I could not have used that money and felt good about myself, knowing that I had helped legitimize oppression. That price was too high." The story of Muhammad Ali and the King reminds us of something that we often forget. It reminds us that money is not everything. It reminds us that principle matters more than profit. It reminds us that some things are not for sale. In a world where everything seems to have a price, where everyone seems to be willing to compromise their values for the right amount of money, Muhammad Ali stood firm. Muhammad Ali said no. Muhammad Ali refused to let himself be bought. And in refusing, he became greater than he ever could have been with the money. The challenge in modern life is that we are constantly tempted to compromise. We are constantly offered incentives to do things that go against our conscience. We are constantly told that we can make compromises and still be good people. But Muhammad Ali understood something different. Muhammad Ali understood that integrity is not something you can compromise on. Muhammad Ali understood that once you start selling your principles, you can never stop. Muhammad Ali understood that the price keeps going up and the compromise never ends. So when faced with $100 million, when faced with financial security and comfort and wealth beyond imagination, Muhammad Ali said no. He said no to the money. He said yes to his conscience. He said yes to his principles. He said yes to the people who were suffering under oppression that he could have legitimized. In the years that followed, many people would come to respect Ali's decision. Many people would come to understand that what he did took tremendous courage. Many people would come to see that his refusal was not an act of foolishness, but an act of courage and principle. There is a concept in boxing called taking a punch. In boxing, you must sometimes take a punch in order to win the fight. You must sometimes absorb pain in order to achieve victory. You must sometimes sacrifice in the short term in order to win in the long term. Muhammad Ali understood this concept. He understood that refusing $100 million was like taking a punch. It hurt. It cost him financially. It cost him in comfort and security. But in the long run, it made him stronger. It made his legacy stronger. It made his principles stronger. When people think about Muhammad Ali's greatest achievements, they often think about his boxing victories. They think about his 3 heavyweight championship titles. They think about his legendary fights against Joe Frazier and George Foreman and other great boxers. But perhaps Ali's greatest achievement was not in the boxing ring. Perhaps Ali's greatest achievement was this moment. This moment when he stood firm, this moment when he said no to $100 million, this moment when he chose principle over profit. Because anyone can make money. Anyone can become wealthy if they're willing to compromise their values. Anyone can become rich if they're willing to sell their principles to the highest bidder. But not everyone has the strength and the courage to say no. Not everyone has the conviction to refuse $100 million. Muhammad Ali had that strength. Muhammad Ali had that conviction. Muhammad Ali had that character. The story of Muhammad Ali refusing $100 million from a king teaches us something profound and essential about human character and about what it means to be truly great. It teaches us that character is not measured by what you do when everything is easy and comfortable. Character is measured by what you do when facing the greatest temptations and the highest stakes. Character is measured by your willingness to sacrifice for your principles, even when that sacrifice is enormous and personally costly. Muhammad Ali faced the greatest temptation of his life. Muhammad Ali faced $100 million. Muhammad Ali faced financial security and comfort and wealth beyond imagination. Muhammad Ali faced the ability to help his family and support causes he believed in. And despite all of that, despite all of the reasons to say yes, Muhammad Ali chose principle. Muhammad Ali chose conscience. Muhammad Ali chose integrity. In doing so, he became immortal, not because of the money, but because he refused the money, not because of wealth, but because he refused wealth in the name of principle, not because he became richer, but because he became greater. This is what separates the truly great people from everyone else. This is what separates those who have character from those who merely pretend to have it. This is the moment when character is revealed. This is the moment when principle is tested. This is the moment when you discover who you really are. And Muhammad Ali discovered that he was a man of principle. He was a man of conscience. He was a man who could not be bought no matter what the price. If this story of principle over profit, of conscience over money, of integrity in the face of temptation moved you, please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that some things are not for sale. Share this with someone who is facing the temptation to compromise their values. Have you ever been offered something that required you to compromise your principles? Have you ever had to choose between money and conscience? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to ring that notification bell for more stories about Muhammad Ali and the principles that defined his life.